So this morning we're going to talk about meditation, and we're going to do a number of meditations, and also we'll do several meditations. We're going to do a little bit of basic seated meditation, some basic shamatha vipassana. We're going to learn the 9 purification breaths. We're going to do a shorter loving kindness meditation, just to kind of get the vibe of that, but then we'll spend a little more time in Tonglen, loving kindness in the context of suffering. And hopefully, time permitting, we'll do a feeding your demons. That's the goal. That's the goal. I wanted to include that because, again, so much of this work is exploring our relationship to experience rather than the content. Our relationship to what arises. And that being one of the primary practices that I work with both personally and in working with others, I thought it would be fun to share that as well. Before we begin, why don't we do a couple 2-breath meditations just to kind of come into the space. I thought it would be good to revisit that. So remember, in the 2-breath meditation, we're extending the spine. We're taking the breath from above. We're breathing in that divine energy into the belly. First breath. Exhale out through the base of the spine into the earth. Second breath is breathing into the heart. Breathing into the heart. Exhaling spaciousness. We'll do the sequence a few times, and then we'll drop the first breath and just continue breathing into the heart for a few moments. So simply coming into a relaxed, seated position. And beginning with breathing that first breath up into the belly. Exhaling out through the base of the spine, deep into the earth. Breathing into the heart. Exhaling spaciousness. With each sequence, the body softens. Coming fully to this moment. As the breath goes into the earth below, soften into that tender caress. Trust. Support. Nourishment. And as you exhale from the heart, connect with that quality of warmth, spaciousness, connectedness. Notice the space in between each breath. Consider who it is doing the breathing. Go beyond. No effort. Dropping the first breath and continuing to breathe into the heart. Exhaling spaciousness. Beyond thought. Beyond fear. Beyond the need to fix or adjust. Coming in to this space together with a heart open, connected in love. Rest in this space. Maintain this quality as we meet this experience here together today. All one. As you're ready, opening your gaze and joining the room here together. I want to begin by just reading a couple of my favorite passages from the pocket Chogyam Trungpa. Is anyone familiar with Chogyam Trungpa? He, very important teacher in my world. He is a Tibetan practitioner that did make his way over here in the 70s, where we've become pretty familiar with his teachings. He founded Naropa University in Boulder, Colorado. That's the first, I guess, official Buddhist college in the country. We've referenced his book on Lojong a few times yesterday. We'll explore that a few times today. Very tantric, very, very non-dualistic, very beautiful. First is no ambition. In true meditation, there is no ambition to stir up thoughts, nor is there an ambition to suppress them. They are just allowed to occur spontaneously and become an expression of basic sanity. They become the expression of the precision and the clarity of the awakened state of mind. Just be with your breath. Be with your discursive thoughts. That purity brings a sense of relief and a sense of peace, which is known as individual salvation. Peace, in this case, means being without complications. It is not a state of tranquility, per se. It is just basic simplicity, basic ordinariness. That peace, that simplicity is empty by nature. It has nothing to dwell on or with. Therefore, it is basically fresh and clean and free from dirt, free from sloppiness. It is empty. And then the last one There's a sense of impermanence that happens constantly, all the time. That's the starting point. To realize that you can't hang on to one continuation. That things do change constantly. And that you have no permanent security. There's only one eternity, and that's the eternity of discontinuity. I wanted to share those particular passages just as sort of we begin talking about meditation. Of course, today we'll be exploring more heart practices. But on some level, meditation can be difficult. You know, I think at some point all of us have experienced a difficulty in connecting with meditation because there's a expectation of what it is we think is supposed to be happening and what it is we think we're supposed to be doing. And that could be difficult. Initially, I really like a basic seated meditation. You know, that shamatha vipassana allows an environment where so much can happen. So much can happen. I remember early on my teacher telling me that we think meditation is special, but it's as simple as shut your mouth, close your eyes, and pay attention. That's it. 3 things. Well, there's something to be said about that. You know, that we can just come into the body, pay attention to sensation, pay attention to thoughts as they pass, pay attention to just meeting all that we're experiencing as an observer. You know, at some point we're even going beyond the me that's experiencing, the me that's hearing, the me that's feeling, that we're just observing from a place of clarity. We're bringing a meditative viewpoint to that experience. Also, I'll note, in meditation, frequency trumps duration. You know, if you're struggling with meditation, 5 minutes a day is a lot more powerful than 30 minutes once a week. Frequency trumps duration. Meditation doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be an hour. It doesn't have to be 30 minutes. It can be 2 breaths. Meditation can be 2 breaths. The idea is that we're connecting with these qualities in meditation and then bringing them to the experience we meet in the world. For today, you can lay down for any of the meditations. You could sit. Buddha's instructions, we can meditate seated, standing, laying down, walking in motion. Whether we're walking, we're sitting, laying down, standing up. And the reason that is because that's everything we could possibly be doing in our life. And that's where meditation is of value. Meditation is of value. And we talked about that a little bit, that on some level we begin this journey and look to these practices as a form of escape. You know? And there is a phrase, you know, spiritual bypassing. I would suggest you look into that a little bit more. There's some really fascinating articles and commentaries about it, but it's where we're using these practices not really to address what's going on, but as a way to avoid. We're doing just the same amount of avoidance in a spiritual journey, and that can be really dangerous. At first, it doesn't matter, you know, whatever gets you on the cushion, you know, and I think for most of us, that beginning stages of the journey is finding some peace from the world we're experiencing, finding some stillness. That's okay. You know, yeah, that's great. You know, my week was so brutal. I just want to lay in the ground and re-harmonize with some gongs for an hour. Awesome. You know, that's powerful. But at some point, there's a transition where we're bringing the qualities we connect with in the practice and making that the place that we meet experience from. Meditation gives us a glimpse of what's already inside of us. By doing the practice and creating a sense of familiarization, then it allows us to maintain those feelings, maintain that state when we go into the world. In post-meditation, be a child of illusion. That's one of the Lojong slogans. In post-meditation, be a child of illusion. You realize that after you finish sitting practice, you do not have to solidify phenomena. Instead, you can continue your practice and develop some kind of ongoing awareness. If things become heavy and solid, you flash mindfulness and awareness into them. In that way, you begin to see that everything is pliable and workable. Your attitude is that the phenomenal world is not evil and that they are not going to attack you or destroy you. Everything is workable and soothing. It's like swimming. You swim along in your phenomenal world. You can't just float. You have to swim. You have to use your limbs. That process of using your limbs is the basic stroke of mindfulness and awareness. It is the flash quality of it. You flash onto things. So you are swimming constantly in post-meditation. And during meditation, you just sit and rest in the nature of your alaya very simply. That is how we can develop ultimate bodhicitta. It is very basic and ordinary. You can actually do it. It's the whole idea. It's the whole idea. Post-meditation, be a child of illusion. So, within the Lojong practice, of course, meditation is a critical part of transforming difficult experience into fuel for awakening. But the post-meditation state is even more important. It's more important. We want to find a place within us where we can be genuine. That's where freedom, that's, not completely, but on some level, the freedom we experience through this practice is being able to go into the world and connect with others from a place that is truly genuine and honest and open. That there's no need to sugarcoat our experience. There's no need to leave out feelings. That we can experience a connection with one another that's beyond judgment, that's beyond bias, that's beyond guilt and shame. It's just empowered. Feeling that, wow, we're perfect just as we are. We're whole just as we are. Everything's aligned. I'm speaking from my heart. It feels so good. There's a freedom. There's nothing to hide, nothing to worry about. I'm not suggesting that we need to just go, divulge our whole life story to every person we meet. That's not the case. I mean, there is things that are personal. There are things that are private that we may not feel the need to share. That's okay. It's not about that. It's about being free to express the things that we need to share, the things that we need to identify with others. There's a lot of freedom in that. And that's one of our most difficult obstacles as people. Connecting with others when we feel insecure, when we feel less than, when we worry what everyone thinks, and we try to fill these roles that we think we need to be. Again, that's not to say that we shouldn't be looking to improve ourselves and addressing the places in us that we want to be different. But even in doing that, we can connect with our basic wealth, our basic goodness. And do it from a place that's open, that's genuine. That we connect fully with who we are, moment to moment. And so much of that happens in meditation. It happens in meditation. We're training the mind. We're training the mind to be, just exist, rest in the essence. We talked about some of this yesterday, of coming into a place where we feel connected to the earth, we feel supported, we feel nourished moment to moment. We trust and feel that those qualities are always available when we let them in, when we allow it in. We come into the heart. We're responding from the heart. We're not responding from conditioning, judgment, bias. And when clinging and condemning are both absent, everything becomes clear and undisguised. We're going beyond that. And we're observing sounds without the need to push away, without the need to think it's a distraction. Just observing our experience as it is. Observing our body, how it responds. That a thought comes into our head and we're meditating and all of a sudden there's a difficult emotion, that we can let it arise, we could let it leave, we could bring our awareness to what's happening in our body. Maybe it very clearly made us tense. Maybe it was a thought that made us soften, that made our heart even open a little bit. This isn't about just all the difficulties. We can get just as lost in the joy as we can in the suffering. Not can, we do. That's something exciting is happening. We don't want it to end. We're clinging to happiness. But that's also not the human experience. There's things fall apart. And I'm sure some of you have heard me talk about this Paying the Children idea that things fall apart. And we beat ourselves up and we get lost in where we went wrong, and we get lost in the failure, we get lost in, oh my goodness, in everything. We get really caught. And then somehow they come back together again. We get lost in the joy, lost in the I did it, success. And that lasts a little bit, but then things fall apart again. And then they come back together. And a lot of this has nothing to do with our action in life. This is just the human experience. Sometimes things seem favorable. In that moment, can we find gratitude? And sometimes things feel like the sky is falling. Can we even find comfort in that, knowing that everything is workable, everything is pliable, everything can work out when we bring a meditative viewpoint. So the idea is really to make room for all of this to happen without pushing away, without clinging, meeting it from the heart, acting from a place of virtue. This is all connected. These are all similar themes that we're trying to work with. So why don't we spend some time doing some basic seated meditation. We won't spend too long in it. I'll guide you for the first few minutes, but then we'll probably sit, just in silent meditation, and maybe 5-10 minutes, just being with what is. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this one with some of the details, and of course, I want you to get lost in the experience in the meditation. But I'm going to begin it the ways I typically begin most of my meditation, and you can pay attention a bit to the ways those stages connect with what we've talked about so far. With the healing paradigm, and how we kind of come into that space and then begin to work with experience. Please begin by noticing your motivation. What it is that brings you to your spiritual practice, your wellness journey. What it is that brings you here today. What it is that your heart truly desires. Nothing to create, just noticing your motivation. And now invoking that which you trust, Christ consciousness, Buddha nature, the goddess, the guru, the moon, the ocean. Whatever image or embodiment that for you has the quality of unconditional love. Invite that into your heart. Taking the next breath into the belly, awareness falls upon the lower chakras, and sending that breath through the base of the spine into the earth beneath you. Softening. Feeling the quality of trust, support, and nourishment that is always available, moment to moment. Still breathing into the belly. On your next exhalation, maintain a firmness in the abdomen. Awareness fully in the spacious yet firm belly. Beginning to feel the quality of being centered. Breathing into the heart, breathing in a quality of clarity, exhaling spaciousness. Resting in sensation, resting in this moment. Allow your awareness to notice sounds arising. Let your awareness fall upon them for a moment and jump to another sound. Nothing to adjust. Nothing to respond to. Allowing awareness to jump from one sound to another. It might be the sound of my voice, the trickle of water, the hum of the fan. Observing all that is happening around you. Nothing to push away. Nothing distracting. Being with experience as it is. Allow yourself to notice all sounds simultaneously as one. Observe sensations in the body. A part that may feel warm or cool. A place where you still might be holding some tension. Nothing to adjust. Just allowing awareness to notice sensation as it arises. Noticing where your body meets the floor. Sensation of the clothes upon your skin. Let awareness jump to whatever it is that calls your attention. And observe all sensation together as one. Allowing thoughts to pass. Nothing to push away. Nothing to cling to. As one thought leaves, another will replace it. Nature of mind. Meet each thought fully with awareness. Nothing to fix. Nowhere to be. Nothing to run away from. Resting with all sensation as it is. As an observer. Go beyond that there is even an eye to observe all these things. Go beyond the eye that's doing the breathing. And rest in this quality of awareness, being with it all as it is. Noticing, observing, just be. Coming gently to the space. Maintaining that feeling, that sensation. Pause. So that was, we sat, this silent part was about 11 minutes. We sat together, and I think that's a good, kind of representation, which is a basic seated meditation.